Welcome to the second year labs for CHEM2403, Chemistry of Biological Molecules. My name is Greg Waugh and I'm the second year lab director. The second year chemistry labs are on level 5 of the chemistry building, at the same end of the corridor as the first year labs. This introductory video will tell you a bit about how these labs will run. Even if you've already completed other second year labs, you must watch this video and answer the short quiz about what you've seen before you can access other important parts of this Blackboard site, as it contains information relevant to this specific unit of study. As part of this course, you must attend 5 lab sessions in weeks 9 to 13. Labs run from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Make sure that you turn up ready to start at 1 p.m. You'll be rotating through 4 different experiments in this lab course, 4 1-week and 1 2-week experiment. You'll rotate through all 4 experiments in your group. Your timetable tells you which lab day you have, and you'll be advised by email which group you're in. The lab groups are full, so we cannot allow students to swap between days or catch up on missed labs. It's therefore essential that you attend the day for which you've been timetabled. If you absolutely must change lab days for 1 week, you must contact me at least a week in advance to try to organise this swap, and I'll do my best to accommodate you. If you just turn up at the lab, you won't be allowed in. Make sure you familiarise yourself with the lab program folder on Blackboard, as it contains all the essential information you'll need for this course, including the pre-work quizzes, the folder for report submission, and other important information like appendices on lab techniques. This year, you're expected to be able to use ChemSketch or a similar molecular structure drawing program, and Excel or a similar spreadsheet and graphing program. Information on these can be found in the training folder, which contains a link to video tutorials on ChemSketch and MarvinSketch and the enrolment page for the Excel learning site, as well as information on presenting data and how to write lab reports. You should try to do this training as soon as you can. The first thing you must do, as soon as you can, is to pick up a lab manual for this unit of study from the Level 5 service room. You'll be advised in lectures and on this site when these are available to collect. Please read through this thoroughly, as it contains all the information you need about these labs. Before you come to class each week, you must complete the online pre-work for the experiment you'll be doing. This is an easy quiz, just 5 multiple choice questions, and many of the answers can be found in the lab manual. You can attempt this quiz as many times as you like, but you must get 5 out of 5. This will then contribute 10% of your mark for each lab. The pre-work is essential. It's designed to make you read the lab before you come and make you aware of any safety issues. If you haven't done the pre-work, you won't be allowed into the lab and will therefore get a mark of 0 for that week. The pre-work is all in a folder on the Blackboard site, and you won't be able to access it until you've completed the short quiz below this video. Experiments can often take the full 4-hour lab session, so it's essential to be sure that you've read the lab manual and planned for your experiment before you come to class. Most experiments in the lab will be performed individually, but for a couple you'll be working in small groups. In some cases you may pool your data at the end of the lab and use the combined data to write your report. You'll be given a lab notebook that looks like this. You must record all your data in the notebook, including pasting results sheets or printed spectra, and write down anything that is important. If you want to query a mark or ask a question, you must bring your notebook with you so that we can check what you actually did in the lab. In your first lab, you'll be given a pink card. This card will show your group and your individual timetable, and it will also contain spaces for the demonstrators or technicians to sign so that you can be issued with chemicals in the lab or to acknowledge that you handed in a sample. Paste this inside the front cover of your lab book. If you completed chemistry labs earlier this semester or last semester and you still have your old lab notebook, please continue to use it. This will save us from wasting half-filled notebooks. There are lots of people to help you in the labs. Each day there will be 4 demonstrators, 1 assigned to each group, plus an academic supervisor. Shane and Carlo, technicians in the service room, will also be able to help you. Before you start each lab, a demonstrator will give a brief introductory talk. It's essential that you arrive at lab by 1 p.m. so that you don't miss this talk. From time to time, the demonstrator may also gather the group together to go over some aspect of the experiment or data analysis. You must make sure you finish in plenty of time to clean up and leave at 5 o'clock. The lab doors shut and lock at 5:15, so you must be gone by then. You must clean up your lab space before you leave. Leave it looking the same as when you came in. Students the next day will be using the same equipment and glassware as you, so you need to make sure that things are neat and tidy for the next lot of students. If you leave without cleaning up, you may be penalised 10% of your mark for the day. Overall, approximately 50% of the marks for the lab course come from the results you obtain, 40% from your reports, which may be a short written report, a long written report, or a poster, and 10% comes from the pre-work. More information about the breakdown of mark can be found in the lab manual. The results mark will be based on your performance in the lab, that is, the accuracy of your measurements or the quality, yield and appearance of a synthetic product. The report mark will be based on how you write and present the report and consider the discussion questions. Your reports are all submitted, marked and feedback returned to you on Blackboard using Turnitin. You must view a short video on report submission and complete the associated quiz before you can submit any reports. There's plenty of information about how to write reports and present data in the lab manual and on Blackboard, so make sure you consult it. It's essential that you think about and work safely whenever you're in the lab. You must be wearing closed shoes, safety glasses, a lab coat, and have long hair tied back at all times. Whenever you step out of the lab, even if it's just to go to the toilet, you must take off your lab coat. You're not allowed to wear a lab coat anywhere in the common areas of the building. As usual, there should be no eating or drinking in the laboratory, and you are not permitted to use your mobile phones while you're in the lab. If you absolutely must take a call, please step outside. The only exception to this rule is that you may use your camera to photograph some results for your report, such as your TLC plates. There is a safety map in the lab manual which will help you identify all important safety features. You must complete this map and have it signed by a demonstrator when you first come to the lab before starting any experimental work. If you've already completed a lab session in semester 2, you won't need to redo this. One aspect of safety is that we need to keep track of who is in the lab at all times in case of an evacuation. We're doing this by having a sign-in, sign-out computer where you scan your student cards each time you walk in or out of the lab. You must do this even if you're just going out to the toilets or to have a drink of water. The computer will record your attendance at the lab, but we will not record any other information. This is simply being collected for safety purposes. If you don't have your student card with you, you can type in your SID. That's it for now. You can look forward to coming into lab and doing some fun experiments this semester. Right now, make sure you do the quiz just below this video and remember to pick up your lab manual and do your pre-work before you come to your first lab session. Also, don't forget to watch the training video and complete the quiz on report submission through Turnitin before your first report is due at the end of week 1.